Prof. Ben Bezejouh came face to face with GASA Media, the pioneer president of the S-Student alumni. He was also the pioneer student in 1981 who started the then GSS Fontem.
Was part of the first batch of GBHS Fontem. So we cut the bushes, did everything, started struggling from square one work.
He's a university professor.
I have been working at the University of Maryland for a very long time now.
He also talks about the 40th anniversary retrospectively.
We had big plans for the 40th anniversary, 40 years of the existence of the institution. If we were to look back, 40 years of grammar school has achieved wonders. Here in the United States, practically anything LBLM is powered by grammar school students.
This is GASA Media, your mouthpiece news outlet. Behind the microphone, I'm Enes Kumar.
Yeah, dear viewer, and welcome to GASA Media. My name is Enes. Today I have the privilege to welcome the pioneer president of GBHS Fontem S-Student Association, Professor Ben Bezejouh. Prof, you are welcome, sir.
Thank you, Enes. It's a pleasure to be with you this evening.
Yes, Professor Ben, I know for sure you were the pioneer president of GBHS Fontem S-Student Association that you initiated the coming together in the USA. Can you briefly outline to us, maybe before then, even about yourself, your background?
All right, thanks, Ernest. There is two questions in there. And let me perhaps start with my background. I was part of the first batch of GBHS Fontem when the school opened in September of, it was at 1981. We were the very first roll-in, okay? So we cut the bushes, did everything, started struggling from square one, and I moved from where to complete the 5 years. I was pretty okay given the challenges. I did very well at GBHS, succeeded there, and went on to Government High School Mbengwe. All right, so that was my 86 to 88. I was at Government High School Mbengwe. You may have heard that there's a good number of grammar school students who followed me up to Mbengwe in the following years. It was because they knew that one of theirs had gone to GBHS Mbengwe. I was in Mbengwe for just 2 years and did very well at the A levels and got a government scholarship to go to the UK to study mechanical engineering. So I was at Liverpool University when I finished at Mbengwe for a good 4 years, where I finished my master's in engineering. A few more years in the UK, and then I came to the United States to work. I have been working at the University of Maryland for a very long time now. Pretty much I started at the University of Maryland in 99. All right, so 1999 is when I started at Maryland. So I have been at the university for quite a long time, mainly because of the stability it gives me, not necessarily having to move from one part of the states to the other. I think that gives you a little bit of my background. And then for
definitely.
For the GBHS side of things, I have been an activist in our community for a long time. So it didn't start with GBHS, it started with LBLM, where when I got into the US, myself, Professor Nkemsi, and Philip Tazi did so much work to restructure the BLM organization here in the US. That success led many of our people to call on me to work the same in Lekudo. And I yielded and did quite some good work in Lekudo as president of Lekudo for a number of years. That success again led grammar school students to plead on to me nonstop that you need to start something for grammar school. We are so many here, we need to get going. And at some point, a good number of us came together. I don't want to call names because I may leave behind some people who were very critical in those days. Remember, it's a whole lot of years now, all right? You guys are fairly new. We're talking 15 years ago, stuff that happened 10 years to 15 years ago. So I may not remember that much, given that I do so much in the community. But we came together and it was a good bunch. And we began contributing money, opened a bank account, began doing things in grammar school, right? So there's a whole catalog of things that we did in grammar school. Again, I do not have any documentations to start reading them to you now. That's for another day. We held 2 conventions, one in Maryland and one in Ohio. And Edmond then took over from me as the next president. And Edmond is our president at this point in time, as you all know. So that's the background.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah, thank you.
To this point.
Yeah, I know Dr. Emo has appeared on GASA Media now. He's trying to galvanize, because I think in your own era of leadership, the idea of different batches were not known at that time, because it was the initial, the beginning of the Student Association after about 35 years. Then when you look at the momentum that is going on now with GASA Media, try to get in touch with different batches, as you must have seen different batches appear on GASA Media, echoing, bringing all their members, asking their members to come on board. What do you take from there?
Oh, it's a brilliant idea. You can never go wrong by bringing people together, put it that way, all right? And it's always a good idea when people come together. And the idea of batches certainly helps. It goes more in depth. People recognize their classmates much faster. They can identify with their classmates much faster. So it helps the groups to grow much, much quicker than if we were drumming our head on only one united group. So I definitely support that idea. I am fully, wholly in support of it. Whichever direction it takes us, we would go. So we all should fall behind it. It may not happen all in one day, but as it's a concept that I think can build upon, okay? We can build upon towards even our next conventions, whenever they come up. The idea of batches can really help to rally for the next convention. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Professor Ben, you mentioned that grammar school actually started in 1981, which means that in 2021 will actually be 40 years. Correct. That means it will be hitting it 40-year anniversary. Correct. So if I may ask you that, what will be the significance of this date? And you as an President Emeritus, is there any advice or something that you may throw to the current president in regard to this date coming on, or preparation, or what the organization may do?
Thank you, Ernest. It's certainly, from the little write-up you may have seen me put up there, we had big plans for the 40th anniversary. Even before I passed over to Edmond, we were already thinking that 2021 convention will be in grammar school itself. Regardless of how many people are able to make it, that we were going to go there and just basically make a good appraisal of the 40 years of the existence of the institution. There was enough time. We were looking at about 2016 to 2021, 5 years of planning and executing projects, right? That was actually in the pipeline. We had a number of projects that we were going to execute before 2021 gets there. And then that convention will hold there. And of course, we will try to rally as many of us as possible. Those who are able to make it to grammar school will go there, and we would all meet and have a good celebration. Of course, we all know the sign of the times. That's not going to be easy at this point in time. That's not going to happen. In another perspective, if we were to look back, 40 years of grammar school has achieved wonders. I mean, it's not even something anybody can sit here and talk about. Grammar school students are the leaders, the de facto leaders of that division at this point in time. Right? Syllabusm does not come anywhere close. Here in the United States, practically anything BLM is powered by grammar school students from the ground up. It doesn't matter whether it's Lekudo, it's any other organizations in the BLM, whether it's LEGDA, whether it's a Mokmbin, wherever it is, they are powered by grammar school students from the ground up. And the politics of the division as a whole will still also be driven by grammar school students. So even as we talk about development in grammar school, I don't think we are going to be that narrow-minded. We need to know that the responsibilities of the BLM as a whole lie on the shoulders of grammar school students, because there's no other person in that division who is going to develop that division. It's going to be grammar school students. And we should all begin to position ourselves to take over that responsibility. All right, thank you.
Yes, Pastor Ben, thank you so much for throwing more light some of the responsibility that lie to grammar school students. And by that, you mean that the organization, the grammar school student alumni, it should be at the helm of, in terms of policy maker, in terms of decision making. So is there any last word that you want to express to our fellow classmates before I let you go?
Certainly it helps to belong. I would never ever push anybody to belong by force. My goal has always been, if you run an organization very well, people will definitely flock to it. When I was leader of these organizations, I always said this is demand and supply. I will run a great organization and you people will see how good it is and you guys will come into it. All right. So that's always my philosophy. I want grammar school students to know that they come from somewhere. It may not be one day for everybody to, it may not be everybody starting at the same at the same time, at the same point, but down the road, we expect everybody to be contributing one way or another. Another thing I may want to say to grammar school students is, you do not copy anybody. Do not think just because this person is doing this or doing that, I must do it. No, everybody has their own life. Everybody has their own plan. God has a different plan for everybody. So just be your own self, right? That's number one advice I want to give to grammar school students. As in general, have a plan. All right, I'm not doing it this year, I will do it next year. I'm not doing it next year, I can do it the following year. And we as leaders equally should always have that flexibility in mind. When I was a leader, I knew not everybody would participate at the same time, because the demands that I was putting out there were not, everybody wasn't qualified, or everybody wasn't capable of doing all those things. So we would definitely have some flexibility in the way we do things, but we expect all our grammar school students to, one way or another, hook in. All right, we're pretty much opening a conveyor belt that different people can hook in their skills at different points in any way they or form they feel. Thank you.
Yeah, Professor Ben, thank you once more for tuning in this evening to at least throw in more light on all the topics that we've discussed today. It was my pleasure having you here.
Oh, thanks so much, Ernest. It's great to be with Grammar School. We look forward to more cooperation in the future. Okay.
Yes, dear viewer, that was Professor Ben Bezejouh, who was the pioneer president of GBHS Fontem Alumina. Yeah, he was highlighting how the organization actually come into fruition. He also highlighted the headline on what we could do in terms of preparing in the Jubilee that is coming on next year. Till then, we will meet again. Please do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also turn on the signal button so that anytime we update information, you should be able to receive them. Until then, you have a blessed day. Bye-bye.
This is GASA Media, your mouthpiece news outlet.